Most of the things I buy are used. I'm a punk rocker at heart, you know. I just grew up buying things at the at Village Thrift in Laurel, Maryland, and I'm a writer. I don't have a lot of money, so I can't get a lot of designer clothes. The Salvation Army in Newark, New Jersey. That's where I got this skirt, and I'm pretty happy with it. I think this coat came from Beacons. A friend of mine gave me the scarf. You know, generally like sample sales, Beacons, and you know, half-price Wednesdays in Newark, New Jersey. Yeah, of course, value. I don't really read fashion magazines. I've worked at fashion magazines in my time, but I don't read them. And it's just funny, the assumption that like I follow the industry or that I read fashion magazines. You know, when I look at fashion magazines, at times, what I think is, oh man, you know, that's beautiful and there's no way I can afford it. So it's just a matter of like whipping up desires that can't be fulfilled and then like breeding dissatisfaction. So why do I want to do that to myself? I think that's like a pretty insidious function of fashion magazines. Well, I'll tell you, when I look at like fashion publications, like I see things on the runways and I see things in like magazines or like the New York Times fashion pages or whatever, I always think like, oh, that's what my friends were wearing a year ago. So why am I gonna get late fashion from a publication when actually like my friends and like the artists that I work around are the ones who are driving the trends? Why do I want to be behind the wave instead of in front of it, you know? I don't really look to other people for my style very much. If anyone, just like my friends. I think my friends dress really well, and I'm impressed with them. Karen O is my old friend from college. I'm really influenced by her though. You know, I know now, I just figured out who my fashion inspirations are. I absolutely have them and I was blanking on it, but there are these women that I work with. I work at Art Forum and there's this constant flow of like young women a couple years out of college who work there in reception and circulation and then as like also as editorial assistants, and they have incredible fashion and I basically take all my cues from them. To be honest, I bought this sweater inspired by a coworker of mine at Art Forum who just like has amazing style, and she doesn't dress like anything you see in a magazine. Well, I don't know how this translates into my my clothes necessarily, but I just last night read a book that's coming out by a friend of mine that's just utterly beautiful and really like just deep and gorgeous, and the book is called The Long Goodbye and it's by Megan O'Rourke, and it's a memoir she wrote about her mother's death and the year following that and about how our culture deals with grief. And I'm really feeling the influences of that right now. I think you should be on the lookout for the band Mountain Man. I don't know if you already know them, but they are incredible. It's 3 women and they basically just sing. And I did an event with them upstate, and when I met this one woman in the band, Amelia, she was wearing this like old vintage flowered dress with like a stretched out sweater over it and like LL Bean like boots for like going slogging in a swamp, and it was the most beautiful thing. And she was just like, yeah, I pretty much never take this dress off, and that's fashion.